everybody, welcome to another riveting episode of Buggy Reviews. Today's episode, we are going to be looking into a rather dull foray into the Marvel Cinematic Universe with the Eternals. Now, as a comic book person, as someone who would like to read a few comics here or there, know things about the world, the characters, I knew pretty much nothing about the Eternals. I knew that they were a Jack Kirby creation, but I wasn't familiar with that. I'm familiar with this other stuff, like Apocalypse, New Gods, all the stuff he did for DC there. And of course, maybe Galactus and Silver Surfer, since like he was involved with that kind of stuff. But Eternals, nope, didn't know a goddamn thing. So it was a bit of a weird one to realize that they're making a movie off characters that we've never heard of or seen. Now, sure, you could kind of make the argument that people didn't really know about Guardians of the Galaxy or whatnot, and it's like fair, but I feel like people know Guardians of the Galaxy. They knew it a little bit more prior to the movie, before, unlike Eternals. But anyways, enough wasting time. I found the Eternals to be a rather bland, dull affair. The characters, 98% of the characters were just boring and not interesting at all. Only two characters were somewhat decent. Kit Harington as Dane Whitman, aka the Black Knight. He does not become the Black Knight here, although they reference some stuff and kind of leave it on the table. Like, I liked him when his scenes were around. He was very short. He was very shortly used. Only a few here or there. Blink and you miss it type moments. I think he had a better chemistry with some of the other characters, especially Cersei. I think that they did pretty well with that. And then the other character was Angelina Jolie's character, Athena, who I thought was more entertaining than I was expecting. I liked the idea of this warrior woman from space who's kind of got some PTSD and some moments where she just loses control of herself and could sporadically attack people. She can conjure up like any weapon she wants, so she's always like, and she can always mix it up, so it's like she could be attacking you with a spear, but then like split it up into axes or shields or whatever. It was very interesting. Like, I liked it. I think and Angelina Jolie is a good actress. I think she did a remarkable job of playing this kind of character. So I like that character, and I like Kit Harington. Other than that, though, character-wise, just bland and boring and useless. Like, nothing was interesting. I can't even remember half of the characters' names. Just because they're just not that memorable. And then fucking, and otherwise they just have like the typical Marvel dialogue of cringy lines and jokes that really just shouldn't be there, especially if you undercut a serious moment with the joke. There's even a moment where the Eternals go to a character and he's holding like a frying pan thing with a pie in it, and they tell him, hey, look, this character is dead, and this guy's like, oh no, and it's silent, he's looking down, defeated, like grieving, and then the pie falls out of the pan, and it just makes a very loud, obnoxious and it's like, oh, were you trying to be comedic with that? Because that was very bad. That was very bad timing. You didn't even let the body get cold on that before you undercut it. A very serious, important moment for these characters to realize, hey, someone we know died. So yeah, they had that going. The action scenes were pretty fucking bland and boring. They didn't hook me in. most of the time they're just fighting either themselves or they're fighting like CGI monsters, which is like I never have a problem with CGI monsters, but it gets to a point where there's just not much in terms of the creativity to it. It just feels like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing. All right, I've seen that kind of move set in a million other movies done better. It just doesn't seem like anything you're trying is new or interesting or even trying to make it look different. So, you got that going. The story itself was pretty generic. I think a lot of people, if you know the tropes of stories like these, you could kind of predict stuff going on. It's pretty paint by the numbers, world-ending scale, because suddenly every MCU movie has to have a world-ending event in every movie, when you could just tone it down a bit. I mean, that's kind of why the Spider-Man movies did so well, is because, hey, it wasn't a world-ending event. Sure, a lot of people could get hurt in said event, but it wasn't going to be like if Spider-Man didn't win, the world was going to fucking explode. Like Eternals. And of course, speaking of the Eternals are like, in terms of morality, they are not really, they're terrible people and terrible characters. Like they're just, when they have a big, because it's like people already understood from the trailers that the Eternals was just sitting there chilling, letting the world kill itself and Thanos and all this stuff happen because, oh, no deviants. But then as like the secret revelation of the plot is being that the Celestials, these godlike beings who created the Eternals, and the deviants, the quote-unquote villains of the movie, the reveal is that Celestials, how they're born, because it's a cycle of life and death. Whenever something dies, something grows, etc., etc. That a Celestial has to be born within the core of a planet, and then when that Celestial is born, it destroys the goddamn planet and creates new worlds or new suns and galaxies, sort of shit like that. And the deviants were originally created to be like the guard dogs that they were supposed to just kind of cull the herd on populations, but they got a little too carried away and uncontrollable, so the Celestials made the Eternals as like these super highly advanced robo people that to just go in and do the job and clear out the deviants and make sure that the Celestials like birth just fine. And of course they erase their memories after each like quote unquote mission, just to try to give them a little justification. But it's like, hearing all that knowledge, it's like, how are you guys heroes? You're not heroes. You are architects of destruction to billions and billions of lives across the entire galaxy. Why the fuck should I care if you get hurt or die? Especially when you're not interested characters as is. Performances, I guess it's just, Angelina Jolie did a great job. I think Kit Harington as Dane Whitman, I think he did pretty good with what he had. I'd like to see him in Black Knight a lot more, in a more active role. But yeah. The other Eternals, I guess they were doing okay. Some performances were just off. Salma Hayek, I felt like she was kind of phoning it in terms of her performance. Richard Madden, who plays Icarus, I think he was just kind of I think he was just playing the same character more or less with, because he played Rob Stark. And it's just like it felt like he was kind of playing the same type of character, so it just didn't really feel like there was anything to it. Other characters that were there just didn't have that, I don't know, they just didn't feel that noticeable to me, in terms of their performances. I guess it's just, they did okay-ish, maybe. I don't know. It really wasn't that great. But yeah, I feel like this is definitely a big flop for Marvel and Disney, because this movie was just god awfully boring. Like like the most I got out of this was two characters that I semi enjoyed. You know, that's it, and that's terrible. That should not be how you go out of the movie experience with just two characters that you can like. That's not it. That's not how it should go. But yeah, I don't know. I'm very doubtful that the Eternals are going to come back in any big giant sequels or anything. I'd be surprised to see how they're going to have to, like, restructure themselves after this one. But yeah, that's my Eternals review. I'm not going to ask if you guys seen it, because you ain't going to fucking see it. I know it. What are your thoughts down below? If you want to recommend something else within the realm of the superhero verse, put it down in the comment section below. I'll see if I can check it out. And anywho, I think that'll be it. Goodbye.